Wait till you hear what's going on in Dallas. Here we go. It starts with CeeDee Lamb, his mother posting on Facebook that she wished her son would be traded, adding, quote, Dak isn't it, and that the Cowboys need to get rid of him. Dak's brother Tad, who's a friend of the show, then chimed in, taking to X over the weekend, posting, Cowboys fans who continue to DM me, trust me, if I could get Dak to leave Dallas, I would. Meanwhile, Micah Parsons' brother Terrence got into the act, saying Dak needs to take a team-friendly deal. He posted on X that Dak should take, quote, take $40 million or pack your bags, which led Micah on Sunday to respond, posting any comments made by Tara Parsons Jr. are his and his alone. As you know, if I have something to say, I'm not afraid to say it. I love my team, my brothers on my team in the city of Dallas, and I'm more committed than ever to bring a championship to the greatest fan base on earth. Outside of all that, not much going on really in Dallas. So what the actual heck is this? Jeff, what?
This is off-season full of entertainment is what this is right here. This is a thing of beauty. We're not 2 weeks outside the season after you won and done it as the 2 seed, and we already got fighting in-house. There's nothing better. And I'm not sure. I kind of thought about this, and I was like, is this negotiation tactics? Like, are they trying to push, hey, Dak could leave. My family wants me to leave, but I'm not going to leave. You better give me more money. Or CeeDee Lamb, hey, my mom wants me to go. I might leave. I get more money from you, Jerry. I'm not sure what it is, but I do love the hostility because all it does is give me more to talk about. But I will say this, from winning football games, it's hard enough when everything's aligned. When you got this mess going on, maybe there's a reason McCarthy was the only one. Yeah, maybe people were like, nope, I'm out.
This is a negotiation tactic. Terrence Parsons is giving Dak his number. Like he's in Dak's pocket there. Like what do you, look, the social media is ridiculous and awful and should go away. But what the Cowboys are telling you, they're going to tell you what they think by who gets extensions.
Yes.
Right? Dak Prescott is up for an extension. Micah Parsons is up for an extension. CeeDee Lamb is up for an extension. Of those 3, I would say I'm most confident that CeeDee Lamb gets one. And then probably Dak Prescott after that. But you don't have to give out extensions.
Can I just ask a question? Is it, of those 3, is it Micah Parsons the best player? I mean, I get that CeeDee Lamb is great, and I get that Dak Prescott was a borderline MVP this year. Micah Parsons is like the one-of-one guy, is what you guys always
You
keep
could probably
telling me.
make a case that CeeDee Lamb had a better year than Micah. I don't want Micah on my case about this. I'm just saying, like, CeeDee was amazing. Terrence, whoever. But no, I think.
On him, Terrence. Unleash.
Let me ask you a serious question. Like, you guys, you played it, you lived it. Forgetting the GM part, forgetting the coach part. You guys were players. You're in the locker room. Like, now all of a sudden, your mom is saying stuff about me, and your brother is. Like, how does that work out?
It doesn't usually. It doesn't usually work out. It usually doesn't end well. Look, I've said this 100 times, and this is the God's honest truth. Listen, man, you can have an ego. We all have them.
That's right.
We all feel that we're the baddest dudes out there. We all feel that we're the best sport, whatever it is. When people start exercising agendas like this, what you're doing now, you're just sowing discourse. You are sowing divide, and I'm telling you, Micah can issue all the releases that he wants now about loving his teammates. Players are human. They go home and they talk to their family. You're planting the seeds of what your family is saying based off of maybe some of the conversations you're having with them.
That's right.
Okay, they're not just coming up with it on their own. They're not just going out there on their own and just saying stuff. They've heard this somewhere before. You know, Micah's family's heard this somewhere before. CeeDee's they've heard this kind of talk somewhere.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes if I was talking to one of my family members about how I felt about a teammate,
Why are you pointing at me?
you know what I'm saying? Like, so what this is I think this is a little bit of a window into how things aren't so rosy down there.
As much as fans care, your family cares even more. And whether they've heard this from the players or not, this could just be their reaction. Because I think that those tweets or comments are similar to what you would hear fans say after a game. But the problem is, you guys aren't fans. You have the same last name, or you're the mother, or you have something that means that your words carry a little weight. And I'm not going to sit up here and criticize people's family, but I know I would hate that because you're not helping.
Yeah.
Not one of those tweets or Facebook posts helped anybody on their team. It's not going to make Dak take a team-friendly deal. It's not going to make Dak play better. It's not going to make Micah's day in training camp any more fun having to do it. You're making everything worse.
And you know what?
If you want to call your family member who's on the team and talk trash about the players, by all means, we all talk trash about our coworkers every now and then. Sorry, Jeff, but don't do it on TV.
Right, Dom. I'll tell you what. You would be looking at your teammate differently, whether or not you'd be sitting there going, "Wait a second now,
right?
Wait a second. Your brother said what?"
Yeah.
Whether he
And you could tell me 100. You could tell me 100 times, "Hey, dude, it was him. It wasn't me." I don't believe that.
But let's say
I don't believe
Mike, of all that's happened, Micah handled it the way it should have been handled. Right away,
True.
jump on. This is not
True.
my feelings. Whatever people say, they're grown. They can say whatever they want to say. Because we all know this. We all got to come back in that locker room together. And there better be some hugs. There better be some, because here's the deal. CD Lamb, you're going to have some drops. You don't want that ball not coming to you.
But
Dak,
bro,
you're going to have some bad
but Jeff-
throws. Micah, you're going to get stoned some. Everybody understands that all of us are better together than we are separate. We ain't winning games while those dudes walk out the door. And that's what we're all here. We're all better together. Those guys need to get on that and say, hey,
Jeff, I
squash it.
promise you, I would look at you different.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Even if you did come,
But
hey,
you
dog,
got-
we're
you-
good,
but you
dude.
got
We're
to.
good. It wasn't
You
me.
got to.
But I'd still be looking at you like,
The comments from CD's mother is like a little bit more concerning to me because the way that game played out, where we were like, man, CD sure is missing. It seems like there's some disconnect
there was
there.
something weird.
And then to carry it on, that's the only one that feels a little bit different to me. But I also think that you said that Micah handled it perfectly. I'm not sure that there is a perfect way to handle it, because the one thing that he needed to say was some strong support behind Dak Prescott. He didn't say it. He said, "I love all my teammates."
I love everybody.
Maybe it's unfair of me parse the words, but they put this on the table.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not the one who put.
And you know what? And you know what? And you know what? Internally, you'd feel the same way, right? If you're Dak right now, you'd be like,
my name was
that's
in
right.
the comment before. Put my name in the next one.
Archie Manning came after us one time after a game, I don't remember what it was, playoff game. Or
Oh,
whatever,
I do
and talked
remember
about-
that,
Yeah, and
yes.
talked- right? And I still love Arch, man. Like we still text. Like, listen, man. Like at the end of the day, I didn't look at Peyton any differently. I understood we got to go win together. This is what this thing looks like. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's feelings are hurt. Everybody's upset. Everybody's trying to get paid.
But wait.
But at some point. I think what Micah did is the right thing. I don't think
It
you start
is.
naming names.
It
I think
is.
you just go, hey, we're all going to be here together. We're all going to get this thing right. We're going to put this thing back together, go win games.
But
That's
this is
the best.
different. So I'm trying to remember that. That was the game where Peyton afterwards said, "I'm trying to be a good teammate," and we had trouble
Yeah,
in
I don't remember.
protection.
I don't remember which one. Yeah.
Well, I remember what it
Yeah.
was.
I mean, we gave up
and
sacks
Archie
or something
gave
like that, yeah.
gave some general criticism of the offensive line. I'm just looking at the actual post here. Someone tweeted, or this is on Facebook, so whatever you call posting there, at CD Lamb's mother that CD should come to Houston, and she writes,
I get it.
I wish he would. CJ is great. And then in all capital, meaning CJ Stroud, all capital letters, Dak isn't it. That's not the same thing. Archie Manning didn't say Jeff Saturday stinks.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's very direct.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's not the same. But I'm just saying, you deal with the stress of failure in the postseason and all those things. Everybody's feelings are still raw.
I think we can all agree that it's just not going to help.
No.
It ain't going to help. You're now trying to
and that's a great point about
succeed in spite
Archie was
of.
critical of what we did, which was valid.
This is a bit tied to the Josh Allen conversation we were having before. Is like we can go through all of the Cowboys' losses and find their playoff losses and find reasons to excuse Dak. But when you get to the end of the day, you lose them all, and fans, and people who are elevated above fans, family members, and maybe even teammates who will not say it, come down to this thing and say, Dak isn't it. And that's the same thing connecting these conversations. It's an unfair world that the quarterbacks live in, but it's the world that they live in. And Jeff, I don't care what you say. Maybe you're a better man than everyone else, but if somebody call your name, no, I know you, Jeff. I know you.
Well, he didn't
Somebody call your name directly and say, Jeff Saturday ruined that game.
That's a great point.
Jeff Saturday, it don't matter where
That was
Archie Manning or anybody.
Yeah.
Jeff
That's a
Saturday
great
gonna put his
point.
hands on you.
No,
that's the Jeff Saturday I know.
And he didn't do that. There is truth. I didn't think about it being direct to one.
Can I circle all this back to Graziano for a second here? Is there any,
I will put my hands on you.
I think we all just assume, because we are fans of football and we follow the way these things tend to go, that regardless of what anyone says on social media, Dak Prescott is going to get an enormous contract extension this offseason. Well, I'm looking at your face. I mean, you know better than...
Could. He absolutely could.
But But you don't feel
Do
extraordinarily
you
certain
remember how that
happened?
went the last time? Was it cut and dried and simple, and did they succeed on the first try?
They did not. No, he played on the franchise
no
tag.
trades and a no franchise.
He has so much leverage.
Yeah.
A no franchise
wrap.
clause, a no trade clause. Like, he can, if they don't give him his number, he can just sit there and say, fine, my cap number is $59 million.
Yeah.
Deal with that.
Right.
Right? Or
Enjoy.
come to me with the number I like. He has that ability because of the way his contract is written, and I think that could really complicate things this offseason.
That's going to be fascinating to watch. And I mean, again, Mike, as
Dynasty.
Hembo put up
about
there,
something.
and after next season, CeeDee Lamb and Dak. After the season after that, Micah Parsons, all eligible for contract extensions.
No, Micah's eligible this
Excuse
year.
me.
Yeah.
That's when their contracts expire. They're all eligible now.
Yep.
It's going to be really interesting. Again, no attention to what they say, just pay attention to what they do.
There you go.
And then Nick Sirianni is going to have a news conference with Eagles GM Howie Roseman tomorrow. The Eagles announcing that yesterday, and obviously that's a pretty clear sign that Sirianni is still going to be the head coach. I don't think they're going to wheel him and Howie out for a news conference and then fire him right there in front of everybody. So it seems like things will be changing, but the head coach will not. They'll be looking for a new defensive coordinator. They could be making other changes on their staff as well. Our Jeremy Fowler reporting that Ron Rivera in the mix for Eagles defensive coordinator, along with a few other guys. So, but it does look like Nick Sirianni will handle.
Should we read anything at all, one way or the other, into the fact that they didn't say anything? Like Jerry Jones actually released a statement, I'm bringing Mike McCarthy back.
Right.
And the Eagles, I keep waiting for them, to your point, like they're just going on business as usual, as though this wasn't a topic.
I guess how many other teams have issued statements saying they're going to bring their head coach back?
I get
think
it.
That's the exception, right? Like I don't think you have to make that statement, but certainly they're having a news conference tomorrow. That question will come up, and I'm sure it'll be answered early on in that news conference.
And so it does then bring us back to all of the conversations about whether or not the collapse of the Eagles this year, which was mind-boggling from a team that was 10-1 and was coming off a Super Bowl to a team that genuinely over the last 6 or so weeks looked like the worst team in the National Football League. How much of that should have been laid at the feet of the head coach? In this case, not enough, it seems, to have him replaced.
Yeah, I think they're just looking at, 2 years ago, they're in the Super Bowl, right? And so they have it. But I would say, and I said this on air, the fall of the Eagles was shocking to me, right? To go from 10 to 1-7 or whatever they finalize, that is monumental. There has to be change. The issue is how much power does Sirianni have? Is he hiring Rivera? Like that would be my question: is how much of this is his, or how much of it is, hey, we're going to keep you, but all these people that we're going to put around you are now going to continue to be my guys.
Yeah,
that's the question.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you lived that life for a
Yes,
little while, right?
yes.
You know how
You got no shot if that's the answer.
Right? I mean, you can't work with people who philosophically you aren't aligned with, and you need to be the one making that decision, not someone who's sitting up in a suite, kind of like sitting down watching you.
Right.
Number two, though, I think this is a bigger picture issue here with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not just on Nick Sirianni. On Sirianni. It wasn't just on Sean Desai, the deposed defensive coordinator. They have personnel issues.
Yes.
They flat out have personnel issues. Their linebackers are terrible. Corners need to be upgraded. Safeties have to be better playmakers. I don't care who they would have brought. They could have brought Bill in there himself.
Yeah.
Belichick in the middle of the season. It wasn't going to change what had already started rolling down the hill with Philadelphia. They just didn't have the people. Now, offensively, I think that's where the coach, who is going to help Jalen Hurts get back to where he was a year ago.
That's right.
That's the more critical issue for me.
Amen.
I think on the defensive side, it's about personnel. Offensive side, it's about how do we get our quarterback feeling good again?
Well, it's funny. Is that news you're giving me right now in my ear, Eric? I'm literally being told as we speak that Brian Johnson is out as Eagles offensive.
Yeah.
Literally in the moment that you were saying
ding,
that,
ding, ding.
I was being told that Brian Johnson is out as offensive coordinator in Philadelphia.
That is the most pressing issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of the money they invested in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts came into 2023. I remember, I said, he's going to be squarely in the MVP conversation. Now, I know with Shane not being there, that's a wild card, but you would think that Nick has enough control over this thing top down to say, hey, look, this is how we need to use him. This is how we need to continue to develop him. And it went terribly wrong.
Yes.
The offense-
Something went wrong.
The offense didn't evolve.
Right.
And that's
right.
what when you have success doing things one way in one season, you come back the next season, people are gonna be prepared for you. And it didn't seem that they added another dimension or answers to the problems they were being presented. So I think what happened there seems fair. Whether Sirianni should be back or not, like, it seems harsh to me to have him out unless you can point to specific reasons, and we're not in the building. So
Exactly.
if he is poorly managing the staff and that's the reason,
I got
then
a
we
reason.
can talk about it.
I got a reason.
Bill
Bill Belichick is available. I'm old enough to remember when every team in the league was going to fire their coach to try and hire Bill Belichick. How is it possible that if Atlanta doesn't hire him, he's going to wind up, well, I was about to say in broadcasting
think
next year. That
what
seems
you-
unusual. But what do you think?
There's a problem there because there are different decision makers at different levels. If you're the owner and bringing in Bill Belichick means, okay, Bill Belichick, take over all this. If you're not the owner but you have decision-making power, I'd be real trepidatious about bringing Bill Belichick in there because when Bill Belichick shows up with that resume, if he don't like me, if he don't like this person, he don't like that person, Bill Belichick is cleaning house. So if you would like to maintain control of your organization, that ain't a dude you want to call. So he's a lot less attractive to general managers or presidents of football operations.
And that place may be a lot less attractive to him.
Interesting
right,
that
sure.
you say that about Belichick and the teams he's talking to right now, because I think that could be an issue.
Yeah.
I think it could.
Yeah.
I'll be knowing.